32. And if everybody in the audience and the board members will please go ahead and silence their mobile devices at this time. And County Manager, would you lead us in our invocation?
Glad to. Let us pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for everything you've done for us, Lord. Thank you for this day, for your guidance. Lord, I feel honored to have this first prayer with our new board coming on, and Lord, got a lot in front of us all. Lord, I pray you'd help us to make wise decisions that would be pleasing to you. Lord, that would help. Lord, I just ask, Lord, that you just impart your wisdom on this board. Lord, I pray that you would help us to do, Lord, the right decision. Lord, not necessarily the easiest decision, but the right decision. Lord, I thank you that you gave us such pretty weather after this disaster, that we could get power going and that we could get our stuff built back. Lord, you gave us about 2 months of really nice weather. And Lord, I forget to thank you for some of those smaller things that are big things. Lord, I just praise you for who you are. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Lee, would you care to lead us in?
Salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 5 on our agenda is our ethics and awareness and conflict of interest reminder. In accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts. Does any board members have any conflicts of interest that need to be made known at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to any additions or changes to the agenda for item number 6. And the only one that I know of is going to be a deletion of item 10A, and that's going to be under reports and presentations of Tom Hughes, the director of the academy. And make a motion that we remove that from tonight's agenda and add it to a future agenda that he can be able to present his information, or his information can be presented on his behalf. We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Thank you, Chad. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Okay, motion carries on that one. Alrighty. Our next item up is going to be our consent agenda, and I'll give everybody a little bit of time to look through that. I know it's kind of hard to plan a year out, but this is going to be our 2025 meeting schedule. And I missed something. Oh, sorry. I completely just jumped ahead. Sorry, Wendy. I was really hoping to hear your stuff tonight. I just got so excited over it. Sorry, my mind is in other places. So we'll skip back up to item 7. And we do need an adoption of the agenda tonight.
So moved with the changes.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? All right. Has all the board members had time to review the minutes for November the 4th?
Make a motion to approve November 4th regular session.
Okay.
I'll second it.
And if you want to, Digger, have they had the opportunity to review the closed session? These two gentlemen?
Jeff did, since they weren't present.
Did they have to, how does that work if they, or this is their first meeting?
So the minutes are the minutes of the board. So as board members, they would be the ones to vote on the approval or not approval based upon their understanding of what has transpired. If they've not had a chance to review those, it'd be best to table that.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can vote on them for approval.
All right, so we do have a motion on the floor to approve the regular session minutes for November the 4th. Do we have a second for that item?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Dale. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. And so then we would need a motion to table the items from, closed session minutes for November 4th until the next meeting. And that is my apologies. I didn't know for if they would have to vote on those since they were not present. This being their first meeting, so I do apologize for that.
I'll make that motion if we table. To the first meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a second to table those?
I'll second that.
Bill, all in favor, but by usual sign. All right, Stephen, I'll pass it off to you. I butchered it a little bit. My mind was elsewhere. But we are now on item 9.
There's that thing. Come on.
Evening.
Indeed.
First, I want to say welcome to our new board members. And we are definitely looking forward to next couple of years, allowing you to learn more about DSS and hopefully to get to know you some more. I wanted to go ahead and extend the offer to host like an orientation at our office. I know when I first came on, there was a DSS board orientation. And I know Brandon attended that with us. I apologize, I've got kind of a scratchy throat tonight. But Brandon attended that with us. And I wanted to offer that again. That was like a live webinar, but that's not going on anytime soon. So I thought we could like go through the PowerPoint presentation. I would bring you to the office, let you meet the staff, let you learn more about each unit and kind of what we do. We could talk about the budget, more individual and that sort of thing. So I want to offer our new members, but also, of course, our current more seasoned members to attend as well. So we'll probably do that after Christmas, kind of get through the holiday rush. And we'd love to have you come up and get to meet our staff and hear more about us. So I'll kind of explain some of our meetings that we usually have monthly for our new folks. We do have our MDT, which is our multidisciplinary team. And this is a team that meets to really assess the needs of our elderly and adult population. So we kind of look if there's any gaps in the community. We talk about housing, we talk about, for example, there was a lady who needed her road gravelled, that kind of thing. We just talk about things like that we need to find solutions for as a group. And on that committee, there's folks like the Senior Citizen Center, there's 911, there's law enforcement, hospice, several of those people, and we really kind of dive into the needs of the community and ways we can maybe assess and help folks out. So that meeting, what we're having in January, again, we're going to kind of get through the holiday season, but that meeting is January 10th at 11 o'clock. If your schedule allows it, we would love to have you participate and just explore that. We also meet monthly, that's a monthly meeting. We also have a monthly meeting with law enforcement. Here again, we've postponed those until after the holiday, but our next law enforcement meeting is the 12th of January at 3 o'clock. And these meetings are typically just to discuss any cases that we're jointly working with, any that we have concerns about. You know, if a report is made and they kind of question why we didn't screen in, why we did or whatever, we kind of talk about that and just try to work together more jointly as a community. We also are part of the CCPT, which is our Community Child Protection Team and Child Fatality Team. This is a group of folks that meet quarterly. And we were supposed to actually meet tomorrow, but we have postponed that until January due to, like I said, I'll be out of the office, concerns about the weather, and just the rush of the holidays. People have asked if we can reschedule. So we do have that on January 7th, and I know that Commissioner Harding is on that board, and I was just informed Ms. Harley will be joining us as well to replace Brandon's. So that is a group that it is up to the commission board to pick the folks that serve on that group. But we look at if there's any child fatalities that have to be reviewed, the reasons why their death occurred. We look at those. We also look at more community solutions. So that group is faced more on, it focuses more on children. So that's our child welfare group. So those are some ongoing meetings that we do, that you guys, you're always welcome to observe. Part of the Medicaid program, they have to, every so often, they are a part of it's a RETA audit, which is a pretty in-depth audit that has been occurring since April. And so I just wanted to report that we still continue to be at 100% on that, which is a big deal. I attended the conference call after this last review, and they were just bragging on Mitchell County, how great, we were the only county in their jurisdiction that is still at 100%. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. We have 2 more months to go, so hopefully we can make it through. Also, I just wanted to FYI, just letting everybody know that we continue to work with Colby Silvers just to try to monitor that. And Adam, I know he's been very involved, just with like the warming stations and that sort of thing, making sure that there's going to be coverage for that. So I know DSS they're responsible for setting up a shelter in the occurrence that we just all were part of, but also we're going to be helping with the warming stations. So if there is an actual warming station that opens up, we'll do some rotations and make sure that that is covered. And we would love to have, maybe even be that we partner with the schools some, so like one of us and one of the schools, that kind of thing, just so we can all be a part of it all, so as a community. And I know that we went toward the location where it's gonna be, and I plan to bring my staff down there so they can also see the building, kind of see where everything's at, kind of orientation kind of thing, because now we have one location where it'll be, so. And Colby, he's been getting blankets and all that kind of stuff. He's been keeping us in the loop of that. So just want you to know that we're going to continue to partner with that. And then lastly, I just want to kind of explain a little bit why Tom is not here tonight. The plaque was ordered and it will be here tomorrow, but not for tonight. So he just said because of the weather, I think we're calling for some snow this evening. We're coming from Watauga County. He just said we'll do it next month. So I apologize for it being on the agenda and then him not showing, but that's the why. That's how many questions for me.
I just want to expand a little bit for these new board members and their current ones about the warming center and the shelter option that she was talking about. Her staff are trained to come in and provide assistance to folks that are staying over in a warming shelter. Right now, we've got a place stood up at Bowman. It's the field house near the football field out there, that individual place. It's got heating, it's got independent gas heat set up in there. We've got heaters, we've got cots. It has a shower, it has public bathrooms in it, all on the town sewer, so we can set that up and stand it up very fast. So as we run into winter, that's our go-to place. Typically, when we have a cold night, if it's, just one night of cold, we have 911, and if someone gets a call from 911 that a person needs warmth or shelter, we can stand that up on a moment's notice. We can move that. We put folks on call, like over the weekend, we send a text out saying, be ready in case someone calls. Beacon Center will be opening up, I guess, in about a week or two. I know they're still training on their folks for one in the Spruce Pine area. So we'll have options for citizens that might need a little temporary warmth, or if something emergency wise happens and they need to spend the night, we'll fix them up. But that's just a little more on what Wendy was talking about with that.
Thank you.
Good evening. We go ahead. Wonderful time with holiday season.
Sean, you might just give an introduction to yourself and your role at the DSS district. And for the new guys here to let them know what all you kind of handle.
So I'm Sean Block, I'm the program manager, or report director to Wendy. I'm over APS, which is our adult services, and CPS, our children's services. So I supervise those two programs and then report directly back to the community. For those. We got about 19 positions, I think, between those two programs. I believe there's about 19 positions. And so, pretty much, just cover all those areas. So this is a report we put together. It covers it kind of splits up between CPS and APS numbers and data. Usually just kind of get some highlights. And then obviously if y'all have any questions or you want some clarification, just ask and I'll try to explain whatever questions you may have about the numbers. We've tried to streamline it over the years. We've kind of tweaked these reports and continue to do it. So the November numbers. So we have currently 31 kids in foster care. So that's the number of kids we actually have custody of. Those kids could be in either actual foster homes, they could be with relatives. In some situations, we may have custody of them. And we removed from one parent, but they're still remaining with a non-offending parent. So that those kids, but we do have parental custody of those 31 kids as a county. For November, we closed 2 cases. One of those closed cases was actually an adoption. We currently still have 7 kids open for adoption. And 2 are in the process of being finalized. So we have two kids actually in the pipeline, that home studies are being completed and those steps are being taken. And so probably we're looking at January, possibly February for those 2 kids to be adopted and have permanency. Then the other kind of is breakdown kind of out of those 31 kids, what kind of placements there is in the next category. And just some different data. We currently have one family that's in the licensing process. Last month we had 4 and 3 of those 4 completed the process. And so we now have 14 foster homes in Mitchell County. We went from 11 last month to 14 this month. And most likely that last family is going to probably finish up this month and be, we're looking at January, bringing them on. So we'll actually have 15 families, foster homes, licensed under Mitchell County.
Sean, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So the 3 that were just completed training and stuff, are they gonna be respite or are they actual?
Actual
homes?
foster homes.
Okay, that's good.
And
really good.
that sounds like help me remember, but that's a lot. I mean, compared to what we've been down in the.
Right, and even if you look at January, we came into the year with 11 homes.
Yeah,
And now we're leaving with, most likely 15 homes.
I'm thinking
So-
back in the last couple of years, it was down in the single digits.
Yes, they were. I think our lowest may have been around 8, 9
Yeah.
homes.
That's good.
We've had different situations that's happened, over the course. Some homes have fallen off because people have moved. Some, have adopted and they're maxed out and they can no longer really foster. We had some that because of medical reasons and challenges within the family, they had to leave. But, when you're on state meetings and you're talking with other counties, the fact that we have continuously been able to maintain people in our pipeline nonstop.
Mhm.
We've never had a situation where, if you look over the year, we've always had families in those pipelines and adding families. That's a huge success to be able to continuously have the families coming in to go through the licensing process. So we're very blessed with that, and we've got our foster families are just absolutely incredible. Our relative placements are incredible, and they bring so much benefit and service to us. And they don't get enough credit for what they do. And we're very, very thankful for them. And we're actually getting ready to have our Christmas party on the 12th, at CJ's and barbecue in Spruce Pine. They host us and they've hosted us. I think this will be either the 3rd or 4th year that we've hosted there. And, we bring all our foster families and the foster kids and relative placements, and we sit down and have a meal together and enjoy some, some time together, play some games and entertain the kids, and we'll have Santa there, so, certainly welcome to come join that, or, stay the whole time, or just pop in and say hi. But that's where we'll be. It starts at, I think, 6 to 9, on the 12th. So the second page at the top, it'll start going the number of reports, that come in. So these are calls that come in to us, with individuals in our community with concerns about possible child abuse and neglect. And so, out of those, 10 calls, we take those calls, we complete an intake on each of those calls, that come in. The paperwork on those intakes are about 19 pages. So we do now, not every single page may get completed. Our system, we're set up in a computer system. So we're actually set up in a state system, which is actually getting changed to PATH, I believe is the new name for the system that's rolling out. But currently it's at CWIS, I think is the initials of that. I get those switched around sometimes. But it's, we're actually in the state computer system, then we put those reports in. And then once we have those in, then they're what we call screened, and depending on if they meet the statutory requirement for us actually opening a case on that family or on that concern and conducting an assessment. Out of those 10, 4 met those criteria. So we ended up doing 4 assessments, this past month. And we currently have 6 open assessments or investigations ongoing, at the end of November. In-home cases, these are kids that we do not have custody of, but we are working with the family because there are ongoing concerns, and currently we have 1 family in that category. So that's our CPS data. Any questions about that? Moving on to our APS, so this is our adult services. And we have several different programs that we run under adult services. It's a fairly wide, broad umbrella program. First is the APS part of it, which is reports that come in, again, regarding concerns about abuse, neglect, or exploitation of any adults in our community. We had 5 calls come in. Out of those 5 calls, 3 of those calls are being assessed or investigated. 2 were screened out, but out of those 2 that were screened out, 1 we took as a service intake. So a service intake it doesn't meet the criteria for us to do an investigation on that situation, but we can go out and assist that family or that individual with some needs that they may have. That might be making a referral, connecting them with some other services. So out of those 5 calls that actually came in, we worked with 4 of those adults or those adult homes. So it may be a couple, it could be an individual. Currently, at the end of November, we had 3 cases that were ongoing assessments. So we're still doing what they call community assessments on those 3 adults. We had 2 adults being served in a case management capacity, which is at 204 category. Then we have a special assistance in home. We have 3 clients in that program right now. Our representative payee, these are individuals in which we basically take their income and pay all their bills, basically give them an allowance, and we make sure that they're able to stay in their homes, be independent, but we kind of take care of their financial well-being and make sure that they're taken care of, and then make sure that they're not being exploited, or it could be a situation that because of medical issues, developmental issues, or something like that, they just need that extra help and assistance, but it keeps them out of having to go into some type of nursing home or something like that, and keeps them in their home and in their community. So we serve 12 families right now in that situation, or 12 adults. We have 13 current adults in guardianship. In this category, we actually, as a county, have guardianship of them. Basically, for all intents and purposes, we have legal custody of them. We make all of decisions related to their care and well-being. We were down from 15 from October. Unfortunately, as when we're working with this population, we had one pass away. It's, and so that's one reason why we were down to 13. And then one of the individuals that we had temporary guardianship of was transferred to their actual home county. So sometimes in our situation, because we have the hospital in Mitchell County, because we have the Greens in Mitchell County and Mitchell House, those situations can lead to us having to absorb that responsibility, because once they come to that program or those facilities, not so much the hospital, but we've had a couple of situations where people were dropped off at the hospital. Because it's in our home county, we have to absorb the responsibility of those individuals, even though they may have never lived in Mitchell County, never resided in Mitchell County, don't own property in Mitchell County. They end up here because of either one of those situations. We can be the one responsible for them, so. And then kind of looking at, we don't have any facility complaints. Another thing that we're responsible for is if there's a facility complaint that comes in, we're responsible for assessing and investigating that complaint. We haven't had any to take care of there.
Sean, can I ask a
Yes.
question about that? So with the Mitchell House residents being out of the county now, does that look any different or?
What the main thing, since that facility is not currently operating, that's one of the main facilities that if a complaint came in, we'd be responsible for assessing. And since they're not operating right now, that's one area that.
Okay, I didn't know if it meant like you would have to go out to where they had relocated these individuals.
Now, it's one of those individuals, so we have a couple of our guardians, the individuals that we have in guardianship, were at Mitchell House, now they're displaced in other places. So yes, we are traveling to go see them.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
So with the guardians, there's different breakdowns. We have to see them at least face-to-face once a quarter. So every 3 months, we have to do face-to-face visits with them. A lot of times, depending on the situation, our staff do more than that. And then there's monthly contacts as well. So, we do, our folks really wrap around those clients. And then the Work First, which is not really connected to APS or CPS, but it's another program that we kind of report out on, just to give you, for the, November, we had 11 referrals that came into that program. It's basically a program, it's an umbrella program. It has, I think, 4 or 5 programs that fall under it, which then help with families in need, depending on each program's a little different, but we had 11 referrals in that program. Any questions?
This is a little off the topic, but heating assistance, have you ever heard of that?
We have not. The state was supposed to be allocating additional funds, but we have not received those yet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Just want to echo a welcome to our new members. Thank you for serving our community and being a part of this team. We're glad to have you. My name is Tammy Hobson. I'm the Administrative Officer at DSS. I've been at DSS this is my 9th year. I started out doing union billing, moved up to Medicaid, took a Medicaid position, then did a long-term Medicaid position, which is a little bit more difficult than regular Medicaid. And then the opening for administrative officer came and I threw my hat in the ring and here I am. So my ultimate goal is to support Wendy and to support the programs there that run at DSS. I wear a lot of hats, so some of my tasks are, I do soft IT, I do personnel work, I do building operations, but my main focus is the financial piece. So DSS, just to give you, if you don't know already, is operated on a reimbursement basis, so whatever we spend, the taxpayers' money, we try to recoup back through several funding resources, and my ultimate goal is to get back all we can. So to take the burden off the taxpayer and the county. So that's where I'm most vigilant. So tonight I've given you a report. Dear just handed out to you the budgetary status report. That's just a summary of where we are for November. 5 months into this fiscal year that started in July. Usually by now, this time of year, should be around 41% of our budget. We're running just a little bit under at 38. So that means that we're trending good, keeping costs low and reimbursements as high as we can. So I'm happy with that. So anything we spend, just to give you a little background on that, and any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer. Or when you come up to meet with us individually, we can go over some of this more in depth. But because of time tonight, I'll just kind of hit the high points. But so I try to pull down money through staffing, because staff codes to certain funding costs. So we pull money down that way. Any costs that we spend for the building, for supplies, all of that is done on a report. Of course, it's done a month or two ahead of time, so our revenues or reimbursements are a few months behind. So I report to you tonight, 5 months in on expenditures, and our revenues are just at 3 months. So at 3 months of revenues posted to the ledger, we should be at 25%. We are at 33%, meaning we're got more than we expected. The reasoning for that, though, is because of the hurricane, we could not report our September numbers. So what the state did on that is they just applied whatever we received in August. So we have done all the adjustments. A special thank you to my staff who worked very hard to calculate those adjustments. It was very laborious, and I'm thankful for all their hard work in helping me do that. So, but when those adjustments come in, which should come in any day, this percentage of reimbursement is going to fluctuate. So we may see it trend down. We're usually lower at the beginning of a fiscal year, or even this 3 months in, because it takes a few months for those revenues to start coming in. So we normally meet our goal, but we don't really see it till the end of the fiscal year. So other than that, you see on those pages, some of those accounts that we spend. And again, we can talk about those more in depth sometime, or if you have questions tonight, I'd be happy to answer. But it looks like we're trending real good. We should be at 41%. Some of the ones we're hitting a little higher are overtime because we're short staffed, and then we have FEMA costs, but we've got a hold on that and a watchful eye on that. Some of our other accounts, we have annual fees that hit. They're not going to hit again. They just happen to hit this time, so that we trended up, but we're not that much over. So
I do have a question. So since you guys had to set the shelter up during the state of emergency very early on with the hurricane, is there different pots of money that the state opened up to be reimbursable for the expenses and the overtime and stuff that you guys done setting that up?
there is not.
Okay.
So the staff coded their shelter time to a non-reimbursable code.
Okay.
So it was my job to make sure, and any overtime they incurred, because it was FEMA claimed, could not be claimed in the reporting on the 1571, which is how I did it.
That's what
So it was dividing all of that up was kind of tricky.
Yes.
It is our responsibility, but there's no funding
Okay.
out there for
I
that.
just, since that's the first time that we've ever had to do that, I just wanted to kind of understand.
Yeah. I was surprised. Thought maybe there would,
Like a state of emergency. fund or
yes,
something.
but I guess that's all taken care of by FEMA and under those umbrellas rather than our state 1571. But if you don't have any questions, I feel good about this year. We're still only 5 months in, but we're coming up on halfway, and I think we're doing well, considering the circumstances especially.
Yeah.
But again, thank you and welcome.
Like I said, next item, number 10, we had to cancel due to, Tom, not being available, and not having actually the purpose for what we were trying to do for that one, so we'll move that to next month. That moves us to item number 11, the consent agenda. I think the only thing in there was the 2025 meeting schedule, so if you guys are okay with that, I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. I second. All in favor, vote for the usual sign. Motion carries. Next item is, board comments, Commissioner Masters.
Just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I know it's been very tedious. It's not gone unnoticed, so thank you guys.
Commissioner Evans.
I don't have any comments, it was interesting.
Excellent. Commissioner Hardy.
Again, great job in a difficult time. You know, looking after the elderly, making sure all your kids are taken care of and in placement, and it will be, excuse me, with the holiday season coming up, it already started with Thanksgiving. You know, there was a lot to be thankful for, but a lot of people had a difficult time that were not as blessed. And, you know, we've got Christmas coming up and cold weather. And hopefully, all of the needs will be met for the individuals. Whether it's heat, whether it's food, whether it's a stuffed hat. So, again, thank you guys for what you do. And I want to wish you and your families a blessed holiday season.
Mr. Blake.
Thank you for your introductions and letting me know a little bit more about yourselves and what you do. And Wendy, yes, I would love to come sometime and let you take me around tour, meet everybody, meet the staff, see what all y'all, I know a little bit about what you do through the school system, but as a whole in the whole county with the adults and everything else, I would love to be able to know more and be aware of it. Thank you so much.
And I have to say, I've said it 100 times, but you guys deal with people who are having the worst day of their lives every day with a smile on your face, and you do a good job at it, so thank you. Next item we got tonight is a closed session item. We need a motion to go into closed session. If anybody's willing to make that motion.
So moved.
Second.
And the reason for the closed session is North Carolina General Statute 143.318.11A6 for personnel. So I got a motion and a second. All in favor of the usual sign. Motion carries.
And who do you want in the room for the closed session?
We will need Miss Linda, Wendy, Deidre, Ford, the board. And Sean and the county. Yes, sir. I think you are the board, so.